Oh, brother. Or should I say, just kidding. Oh man. We got a interesting one for y'all today. First and foremost, I know I already said this on the podcast already, but rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. You know, he just passed away recently, this past week or so. And so rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. It was crazy too, because he passed away on the same day as Ozzy passed away. So it was like it was wild. And so yeah, man, it was crazy. And now that everything's passed, and we're on to the next week. I've been seeing a lot of TikToks, a lot of people coming after Hulk Hogan after he died, and I'm like, yo, like, what the hell are y'all talking about? You know what I mean? Like, everybody's just coming after Hulk Hogan, and pretty much just saying the worst things about him, and saying that he was saying the N word this, N word that. Which I'm like, okay. I mean, I remember the one time he said the N word, and I'm like, okay, I do remember that. But then I remember he lost his job, livelihood, you know. But, he's already a millionaire, so whatever. But still, let's see. Racist. My bad. I'm over here on Google, look for his racist comments. So let's look up what he said exactly. So back in 2015, recording surfaced of former professional wrestler Hulk Hogan using racial slurs. The remarks made in a private conversation years earlier, circa 2007-2008, included repeated use of the N-word and racially charged comments about his daughter's dating life. And the recording became public as part of a lawsuit Hulk Hogan filed against Gawker Media for publishing excerpts from the sex tape featuring him. The fallout of these comments was significant. The WWE responded. The World of Wrestling Entertainment terminated Hulk Hogan's contract and removed him from the website and Hall of Fame. Yeah. The public reaction was largely negative, with many fans and the wrestler figures expressions of disappointment, criticism. Yeah. He went through a whole bunch. And I remember seeing all these pictures and everything. Hulk Hogan's apology. So he made an apology. Hulk Hogan publicly apologized for his remarks, calling him unacceptable and not who I am. However, some critics question the sincerity of the apology. According to Florida Times Union, Hulk Hogan later attributed the use of racial slurs to his upbringing in a rough neighborhood where the word was commonly used in Florida Times. And so, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Hulk Hogan's racist comments remained a significant stain on his legacy, despite his later apologies and reinstatement into WWE Hall of Fame. Okay. So, I remember when this happened. And, it was big. It was kind of heartbreaking because, I actually looked up to Hulk Hogan as a kid. I remember seeing it and I was like, damn, what, gosh damn, why would you do this, Hulk? You know what I mean? But now look at it as an adult, I'm like, I've made some racist comments myself. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect. And so I had to look at it from his side. I had to see, it is me living life has allowed me to look at other people's perspectives and look at other people's point of views and see, like, what was this person going through at that time? What was this? And if he's telling you he's went through a tough time and he was in a rough neighborhood and everything, and not to mention when the recording was done, it was already past like almost 10 years. You know what I mean? A lot can change in 10 years. You know what I mean? Almost like 8 years since that recording, or from the recording. And so a lot could change in like 10 years and stuff. But, not saying people usually change. People are who they are. But certain words and certain moments do not determine what a person is, though. You get what I'm saying? And so, yeah, he's made some comments and he's apologized. And he even went on reality or the world of wrestling or something. And he was on there with Booker T and he was explaining everything. Matter of fact, let me pull that up too.
Because, you was labeled as a racist, okay? And the thing is, and I just want to put it out there. I think if you were a racist, that was a moment, that was an opportunity that a racist would have taken advantage of and say, man, I'm gonna get this ninja fired. He gonna work for me. You know what I mean? That's what I think a racist would have done. And then as well as me, I've been black for now 54 years, and I've been in a lot of racial situations. And I kind of like know the lay of the land. You could tell a racist by the people that he hang out with, his friends. That's how you tell a racist. Or you could tell a racist by the way a racist kids act. That's how you could tell a racist. You know immediately. How did you feel after your situation? Making a racist comment and then being labeled a racist. How did you feel about that? Because people make and I say that because people make comments all the time. Doesn't make them, it doesn't make them that.
You're saying words are one thing, actions are another.
Exactly
what I've been saying. Like, dog, just because you have a moment does not mean you're racist. Like the moment with Kramer. I don't know if y'all remember what happened with Kramer. What he said was some crazy, like out the fucking wazoo type crazy stuff. Like, I agree with Booker here. Like, my bad, let me stop sharing. But yeah, no, I agree with Booker here. Like, he said some crazy out the wazoo, some wild shit. And yeah, and so, and he was scrutinized, he was taken out. And I think he had a moment. And this is why I say, like, I don't believe these people, those people are racist. I just think they had a moment. They had a bad time. Because I've had moments too where I'm calling, oh, F you, you stupid. I'm saying the C word in traffic or something like, fuck you. Fuck you. You know what I mean? I've caught myself doing that in my younger days. I mean, I don't do that now. But I've caught myself in my younger days saying some crazy stuff. I have. And a lot of people have racial moments. And a lot of racially charged moments. And so I'm glad Booker T has brought that up. Because it's like, just because you have that moment does not show who you are. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's finish this.
Well, I mean, and that's what a lot of people don't understand is people can say a word or make a mistake, and that doesn't mean that's who they are. People that keep bringing it up and keep pushing it forward, those are the people I worry about. But for me, it was really a delayed reaction. I mean, that's kind of like why I asked you. I had used the word, and now it's going on almost 13 years ago. What's the date now? 19, almost 20? 19.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even know.
This is a 6-year-old clip, too. So what has it been, like 20 years now? And you guys are still holding it over his head? Like, that's the crazy part to me as well, too. It's like you're holding this whole thing, you're holding this entire thing on just something he said almost 20 years ago. You're holding over his head after death. Like, I understand, listen, at the time, I remember I was like a little heartbroken and everything. But then once I heard it and once I saw Booker T, and then he's also going to mention that he has a black minister that he goes to regularly. And I'm like, that's not a racist. That's just an asshole who had a moment, which a lot of people have had. And I know, and I'm not saying, and the thing is, a lot of people have those moments. Like me, I'm just some regular Joe Schmo online talking shit. And I've had moments like that. You get what I'm saying? I've had moments like that where I get a little racially charged my damn self. You know what I mean? Does not mean we're better. Does not mean I'm perfect. Does not mean, where I've had moments. I've had moments like that. And if we're just being fair, I mean, I think he should have some type of grace. Like, hey, Listen, people can change it. Let's say he was. Let's just say for the sake of argument, let me stop sharing again. Let's say for the sake of the argument that Hulk Hogan was racist. Let's say that. Would he have talked to Booker T? Would he have had a black minister? Would he have popped in that little CD disc on his reality TV show, Listen to Young Jeezy? That's not a racist. You know what I mean? Like, and if he is a racist, he's good at hiding that shit. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. It's like, and not to mention, but him and Booker T have been best friends for years. Years. I think they even were workout partners at one time or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. It's like, you guys want to make the claim that he's a racist, but I'm like, dog, I think he just had a racial moment. I've had racial moments myself. Doesn't that mean I'm racist? I love white people. You know what I mean? But I've had racial moments towards white people before. You know what I'm saying? I lived amongst white people before. I lived in Utah. Some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And no, I'm not going to start saying white power like fucking Clayton Bigsby or something. But still, it's like, no. A moment does not determine who you are for the rest of your life. It's just a moment. It happens, it boils over, and it moves on. You move on. But a lot of people are over here saying that, no, he was a known racist. He was this, he was that. And so I'm like, okay, he's had, and you know, like I said, it would be fair. It would be fair, more or less fair, to maybe make the observation at face value and say, yeah, this guy's a racist. And which is what most people think, because you don't know this guy. You don't know his day-to-day. You don't know what he does on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Even I don't. And I'm not coming out as, you know, some weirdo fan with a parasocial relationship with this guy. Like, no. But I like being fair to everybody. Matter of fact, I remember I was in, speaking of Utah, I remember I was in Utah. And there was this skinhead at a Subway. Skin is straight, tattoos, swastika tattoos and everything. And, you know, he's in front of me on the line. And, you know, we're just waiting to get our sub sandwiches and shit like that. He's in front of me on the line. And, you know, and he looks back and he sees me. And he's like, hey, man, these tattoos are from when I was a kid. I was raised in a crazy household. Like, he's explaining to me. And I'm like, hey, man, you know, that's your business, man. As long as you don't say no N-word, I ain't gonna fuck you up. You know what I mean? And so it was fair. He's like, hey, no, fair enough, buddy. Fair enough, bro. And he's like, all right, man. He's like, oh, my name is such and such. I forgot his name. It was such a cool reaction that we had with each other. And I was like, this is actually a cool dude. This is actually a cool dude. And so he said he was on his way. Like, he said he was trying to get the tattoos removed as soon as possible. I don't know if he was telling the truth. I don't know if he was lying. I just know I had a human experience with a skinhead, with a supposed former skinhead. And, you know, we talked to each other like humans. And, you know, and he was telling me about the moments. He's like, yeah, I had a moment back when I was a kid. You know, he was like, I think it was his early 40s, and I think I was in my early 20s. And, you know, we're just talking. I was like, oh, okay. And so, you know, and the thing is, people can change and people can become better and people can actually grow. And that's the thing. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if Hulk Hogan was racist, I'm pretty sure he changed. I'm pretty sure he became a better person. If he did it, then so be it. But I'm not going to go out and shame a dead man because I'm in my feelings. You know what I mean? Oh, he was this, he was that. No, I'm just not. You know what I mean? If anybody's going to judge, like, I don't judge anybody. I'm not in any position to judge anybody on what they did in their past or what they're doing now. You know what I mean? And he showed remorse. He got his ass handed to him. You know what I mean? Like, I think once somebody's punished, I think, all right, there you go. It happened. Let it go. You know what I'm saying? Once he got punished, he got kicked out of the WWE. You know how hard it is to get back into the Hall of Fame? Once you get kicked out, I'm pretty sure it's very hard because I think there's certain wrestlers that got kicked out for like some sexist comments. They still haven't let them back in. And for the fact that he got reinstated back into the WWE, that means he had to go through some crazy changes or had to do a lot of things just to get back in. Like I'm just saying, like I said, I'm not taking up for him and for those racist comments and saying he's a good person. He probably is a piece of shit. Who knows? I don't know the guy personally. However, I do know he's a man, and men make mistakes all the time. Are you gonna hold it over him for the rest of it? For whatever the rest of his life was? Like, no, he's already dead. Let him rest in peace. If he's gonna burn in hell for being a racist, I let God handle it. You know what I mean? And that's the crazy part. Is like y'all act like you guys are as good as God. You guys act like you guys are perfect and you guys have everything together. No, you don't. Especially all these people coming in, I'm woke, I'm this, I'm that. There is somebody dancing and saying, "Oh, the racist is dead. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan," on TikTok. I'm like, you guys are just so eager, and you guys are just so you want to be noticed so bad, so you're gonna use some other guy on his lowest moments just to boost your channel. You know what I mean? That's fucking low, and that's low. And everybody just wants to come in and take a giant shit on Hulk Hogan now that he's dead and can't defend himself. You know what I mean? He made his mistakes. He's made his mistakes. He's taken his licks and his losses off this. And so I'm just saying, like, is he not allowed any grace to grow or become a better person? And that's just saying if he is a racist, like he can't grow or become a better person. You know what I mean? That's just my thing. That's my thing. You feel me? And I'm sure. Listen, and he's a white, and so one of the racist comments that he made was about his daughter dating a black man. You know what I mean? And saying Edward this, Edward that. How many black fathers are out there saying, "Oh, my daughter better not marry no C word"? You know what I mean? You ain't gonna mess my bloodline up or something like that. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I've seen so many black fathers say that. And I'm a product. I'm the product of interracial marriage. You know, imagine. You know, I've probably seen people saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna mix my breed with a Mexican or something like that." I'm half Mexican. And so, you know, I've seen it all. I've seen everybody talk all this shit and be racist and be shit and things like that. If he's actually, you know, and never once have I heard them ever say sorry and say, "Hey, I'm going to get better. I'm going to do this." Hulk Hogan's done it. And I'm sure he's learned a lot from this lesson. And so if he's grown or become a better person, and if he hasn't said it again, then you know, he should be allowed the grace to, you know, live his life or live the rest of his life that before he passed away. And so I don't know, man. It's just like it's shitty to go after a man that's already passed away. Like, you guys, where were you guys at like a year ago? Where were you guys at a couple months ago? Why were you guys not keeping that same energy? Only now that it's a trend, now you guys say something. And that's the thing I don't get down with too, is like everybody wants to follow the trend. Like, oh, Hulk Hogan died? All right, let's remember him as a racist. Like, no, man. Like, no. Like, if you really were upset about it at the time, you should have said something. You should have came out and said, you should have done your own ordeal. If you guys truly cared about it, you would have done stories about this a year ago, a couple months ago, even before he died. Even a week before he died, if you truly cared about it. You know what I mean? But don't do it now that he's dead and now he can't defend himself. You know what I mean? That's just low. That's just low. And that's my thing. But anyways, let's
So it was said in 2006.
Oh.
And I was made aware of it probably, when did the darn Gawker trial start? I was made, I had used the word, and it was, now it's going on almost 13 years ago. What's the date now? 19, almost 20?
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even know what year it is anymore. So it was said in 2006. And I was made aware of it probably, when did the darn Gawker trial start? I was made aware of it probably, I don't know time very well, so I'm probably saying about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think longer than that.
Yeah.
6 years, maybe 5 years. So it was set in 2006, and then I was made aware of it about 5 years ago. And to tell you the truth, I don't remember that conversation, but that definitely was me, you know, and I definitely said it. And I mean, total idiot, you know,
He's on
totally out of control, bad situation. There's a million excuses for it, but it was me. I said it, and I tried to be accountable for it. But the thing is, the people that know me, and it's really cool that you would say just because somebody says a word doesn't define them or doesn't mean who they are. Because the people that know me, the first person that called me when the publicity came out was my minister, Michael Beckwith. You know, and he runs the Agape Church there in Culver City. He came to my house and married me and Jennifer, and he's one of my good friends, and he's Afro-American, you know. So first thing that happened was my minister called me. He goes, "Terry, have I heard we got some problems?" I explained to Michael what happened. And he goes, you know, first off, God forgives you. And he says, you know, whenever you have a small problem, tell your big God about your small problems. I said, Michael, I've already talked to him about it. And he goes, don't worry what people think about you. Worry what God thinks about you. And he gave me some really good uplifting advice. And you know, after that, there was a ton of support from all my.
He has a black minister that married him and his family, that married him and his wife. Like, that's not a racist. You know what I mean? That's not a race. I mean, not saying it does determine as a racist, but I'm just saying, like, what Booker T says, you don't hang around. You know what I mean? Like, half of Hulk Hogan's friends are black or people of color. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just like this whole idea of attack Hulk Hogan and this and that is just, I don't rock with it.
All my friends, and the hardest part was trying to explain to people that didn't know me.
Yeah.
And some people only knew me because of that. Oh my God, we never heard of Hulk Hogan until we heard him say this crazy word and it was on the news.
That's crazy.
That was the hardest part, was trying to explain to people who didn't know me, you know, who I really was. And it was so hard to, and there's a lot of people now that, you know, I've apologized to on several different levels and several times. And there's still some people that, you know, the jury's still out. Some people are still tentative, and you know, I'm trying to, you know, show them.
And so, I mean, if he's been apologizing, he's been doing his due diligence, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I fucked up. That was a time, you know. Honestly, I don't remember. He was probably drunk and saying some crazy shit. You know, drunk people say some crazy shit.
Yeah, like you guys were talking about, by my actions, who I really am. So it's been a really tough time. You know, but a lot of people are very forgiving, and a lot of people that, you know, are understanding. You know, they've made some serious mistakes in their life too, and I think you know, normal people that have good hearts kind of understand that, you know, if someone does make a mistake, you know, you need to give them a second chance and see who they really are. So it's been a tough time, brother. I won't joke about it at all, but I'm just grateful now that my friends never left me, and the fans never left me, and the people that a few of the people, or a lot of the people that don't know who I really am, I've had an opportunity to speak to many of them as I can and try to.
Whole food protein doesn't.
Commercials. I'm gonna have a big time editing all this stuff.
Use, but be accountable and say, yeah, it was me, I did it, but that's not who I am, you know?
Yeah.
A few of the people, or a lot of the people that don't know who I really am, I've had an opportunity to speak to many of them as I can and try to not make an excuse, but be accountable and say, yeah, it was me, I did it, but that's not who I am, you know?
Yeah. I tell you, somebody had asked me, you know, man, what would you do? How do you feel about it? I said, man, if people judge me for what I did, you know, more than 20 years ago.
Like, if he lost friends or family because of this incident, which I'm pretty sure he did, something like that, his family, like, for a certain amount of time, I think his family, if I remember correctly, distanced themselves from it. And I hate to interrupt, but it's just like, I'm just remembering this because I remember this was like years ago. It was years ago. And so I remember his daughter and all this, you know, everybody was like distancing themselves from him for a while. Like, they had distanced themselves. You know, his whole family. That was around the time, I think it got released around the time where he divorced his wife or something like that. I can't remember, to be honest. but I'm having like bits and pieces of memory, and so like if people left them and everything, like if our relationship is so brittle to a point where an old video of me comes out, an old video comes out of me being belligerent, even racist or sexist or whatever, and you guys just go out and full on leave and stuff, like we probably were never friends. You know what I mean? We probably were never friends, and you know what I mean. Like at least to a point where you hold me accountable, and I actually promise to become a better person. You know what I mean? Versus just saying, hey, you know what I mean? Like maybe give me distance and say, hey man, I can't rock with you for a while until you apologize, this and that, or to hold him accountable. And I'm pretty sure his friends did hold him accountable too, and his family. And so it's like, once somebody admits that they're wrong, they should have the grace, a certain grace period to become a better person. You know what I'm saying?
Aggravated robbery. If people still judge me, for what I did, more than 20 years ago, aggravated robbery. If people still judge me, on that, they wouldn't know who I am at all, man. I mean, because that one day did not define who I am. It definitely did not. And I say that as far as as far as your friends and whatnot. I'm good friends with Knobs, Nasty Boy Knobs. Knobs used to talk about you all the time back in the day, man. I'm hanging out with Hogan, man. I'm on the boat this week, you know what I mean? We all kind of stories, man. I've heard all kind of great stories, and none of them were racist stories or anything like that. As well as Knobs and I, Knobs. I can say this, man. I can honestly say this. Knobs for years, Brian Knobs. He's the only white guy that I've ever given a pass to call me the N-word. I swear. No, I'm serious.
It's almost like every time I was around him, he was calling. I mean, good God.
What's crazy though, and what's crazy is I was in Tokyo, Japan, Knobs and I, and we was in this bar. It was called the Rolling Stone.
My bad. I don't want to stop it, but I don't want to make it the whole thing. But shout out to Booker Team, brother. I believe, I have people that met him and everything. Everybody says he's a great guy. And so, yeah, man, I mean, that's just a little bit of, what's going down and stuff. And so it's like, how can that man be a racist? You know what I'm saying? How can that, that man be a racist? Everybody call him out. And so, and it's crazy too, because anybody defending Hulk Hogan right now, they're labeling them as a racist right now. So, also, another person that's getting scrutinized right now is Joey Swoll, and so he had made a video about Hulk Hogan, and pretty much just saying, hey, you guys that don't know who he was, or you guys are just hanging on, to old things that happened back in the day. If you guys are really serious about canceling people, then go and cancel. Pretty much what he said, go cancel the colored people that said RIP to Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? Which is crazy to call black, people of color, colored. But the thing is, that's actually like in some parts of the country, they still reference black people as colored people. Like I've been up in Michigan, and I remember we were going out, with my dad, his friend, and her sons, and then they're coming out to come see us, but they're in a black neighborhood. They're coming out to see us, and they're white in a black neighborhood, and so they're like, wow. And then we're going out. I think we're going to Cedar Point. I think we went to Cedar Point, and I remember they were saying, they're like, wow, there's so many colored people out here. Never seen so many. But that's what they've known, though. Some people they never been taught any different, or what's the different, phrase of it. And so I don't know if Joey Swoll's had the same upbringing, but I've actually been around people that call black people colored people. And they don't mean offense to it, by the way, like no offense to it. But I guess, Joey Swoll got caught up in the bullshit, by saying that one word. And he was actually, I think he was well right. I don't think he should have said the word. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you still, Joe, he still messed up. You feel me? And so, yeah, man, it's like, so yeah, I guess let me show you what I'm talking about. And so that way we can get the full scope. Like this is going to be I'm going to try to cut this down to 30 minutes, man. I'm going to try to. But yeah, let me just show you exactly what went down. So let me see. So this is the video he made, I believe.
One of the most loved influencers on the internet, just had his whole reputation ruined in less than 48 hours. Popular fitness influencer Joey Swoll went viral because he would call out inappropriate gym etiquette, which would garner him a huge following and massive respect, making him one of the most liked people on the internet. That was until Joey Swoll was honoring Hulk Hogan for his passing by working out dressed up.
Yeah, so this was the video of him honoring Hulk Hogan. He came dressed as Hulk Hogan and went to the gym. And so, I mean, it was an okay tribute. I mean, Joey likes to go all out. I mean, if you see his videos, he goes all out. He's a goofy dude, cool dude. And so, yeah, he does this, and then I guess he's gonna tell you.
Up as Hulk Hogan. After he posted that video, he got huge backlash. People didn't like that he was honoring a guy like Hulk Hogan, that it was outwardly very ignorant towards certain types of people. It looked like it was going to blow over until Joey Swoll responded.
I can post Hulk Hogan if I want to. Just because somebody makes a mistake in their life doesn't mean that they haven't done good things.
Yeah, and he's right on that. You know what I mean? He's not wrong in saying that. Now, like I said, the next phrase he's going to use, I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm borderline with it, but at the same time, it's like, no, I still don't see anything truly bad about it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get what he was saying, because there was a lot of black people saying RIP to Hulk Hogan. I was one of them. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know what he did. And he said something 20 years ago and apologized for it. If you're going to attack me, you better go after the colored athletes and the people that are black and minority that went and posted him as well.
Do you think he needs to do
better?
better?
That's true. I mean, like, hey, listen, if I'm the bad guy, then you need to go and correct all the brothers and sisters that actually went on and said RIP to Hulk Hogan and actually knew him. Or just athletes, they didn't even know him and they still put an RIP to him.
Better or an overreaction? What do you think?
Okay, so this isn't the apology. So let's see. All right, so this looks like the apology over here.
Social media and apology. A few days ago, I reposted an old video. Social media and apology. A few days ago, I reposted an old video of me in the gym wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume on the day that he passed. Last night in my live stream, a lot of people expressed how upset and frustrated they were with me that I had posted that. Instead of listening and understanding like I should have, I became defensive and said that I was posting to celebrate the wrestling icon, the person that so many of us looked up to as kids that we grew up with.
Now, what should he apologize? I don't know. I'm borderline with it. I really don't know. I mean, you guys tell me in the comments if he should apologize. I don't think he should apologize. I think he should apologize for being, I think he should apologize for not knowing what he said and telling people to let it go. I think maybe, but even then, I'm like, I don't know if he should have apologized, because once you apologize, people are going to try to bash you and try to find it. And Joey usually doesn't have any chink in his armor. He's usually a good guy and anything. But if anybody wants to find any chink on his armor, they now found it. You get what I'm saying?
That made us tear our shirts and take our vitamins and say our prayers. I didn't know to the extent of all the horrible things that he had done. Since last night, I have done a lot of research, talked to a few people, and learned all of the horrible things that man has done, which is way more than just making a mistake and being human. So
yeah, and he's said it multiple times and has, and like I said, I mean, should he apologize full on for that? Now, should he apologize for not knowing and still trying to defend him? Yeah, because when you that means what is it? That means you're ignorant, if I'm not mistaken, right? It means you're ignorant. You don't look at what he did and everything. You still go all in. Yeah, okay, maybe you should apologize for the ignorance, but like for the videos and all that other stuff, no, I wouldn't apologize. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm on the fence about it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, it could go either way for me. I ain't gonna front on it.
But because of that, I have taken the videos down, and I apologize to anybody that I offended. I am sorry. Also, during last night's live stream, I used the word colored instead of saying person of color, which is a very outdated, very offensive term. A few moments later, somebody educated me and told me that it wasn't okay to use that, which I immediately
Yeah, and so I guess I would say, yeah, it was due, but at the same time, I'm like, no, and you know, just admitting the mistake, I think it would have been good enough, but still, it's just like when you make that apology, it's just like everybody wants to find a chink in your armor and wants to screw with you so bad. Like it's just anytime you do a full on apology. Now if it's warranted, it's warranted. You know what I mean? Like if it's full on, like what Hulk Hogan had to do, yeah, that was warranted. But this, I'm like, I don't know. I think it was just being ignorant. I think he should just apologize for his ignorance. I don't think for the fact, you know, just for his ignorance and then not knowing, you know, the color thing, you know, and I don't think he meant it as a offensive to be offensive to anybody. You know what I mean? And then he even during that sentence, he switched up and said black and minorities, and so he switched it up. So it's like I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I could be right. I could be wrong. Y'all let me know. But nah, bro. Like I see what it is, but it's like I don't know. There's just some things you should do and some things you shouldn't do. And so he was on. Honestly, I don't think he should have taken the videos down. But I get it though. When you got an image like Joey Swoll, you got to do what you got to do. But let's see.
Apologized to everyone and said I would never do that again. So once again, to anybody that I offended, I am sorry. You know, my whole page, my whole brand is based on holding people accountable and doing better. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't hold myself to the same standards. I am human. I am still growing. I am still learning. And I promise all of you, I will do better. I have nothing but love and kindness in my heart. I will continue to try to make the world a better place. And once again, to everybody, I apologize. I owe my followers, my community, social media.
Okay. So, yeah, good. I didn't really have to see the full video. I got the point. But yeah, so, I mean, yeah, man. I mean, yeah, you can't hold something that somebody did, especially if it's a mistake that they did, you know, years ago. You know, nobody's making, you know, especially, you know, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, you know, I get why everybody's mad, but at the same time, it's like, okay, if he's apologized and he's actually done, like, you know, you also got to look at, you got to take the good with the bad too. You can't just highlight the bad. You also got to look, he's made, you know, charitable donations to, you know, a bunch of organizations, spent millions of dollars donating to different charities and helping other people, kids in need and things like that. And so you also got to look at the good too. And so it's like, I'm not saying that's an excuse for him to say the N word or anything, but I'm just saying like, hey, you got to take the good with the bad. And so he's owned up to his mistakes and you know, so is Joey Swoll. And so I feel like you got to give him, you know, leave Joey alone. You know what I mean? Leave Joey alone. Let him do his thing. Like he said it himself. He's like, he needs to hold himself accountable and that's what he's doing. You know what I mean? He could have just ignored this and let this play out. But no, he kept it real and he came out and actually apologized and actually was being honest. And he even took the further step on taking the videos down. Give him some grace and stop coming for Joey. Now, as far as Hulk Hogan's concerned, like, yeah, man, the dude made mistakes. And the thing is, I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly what he does on an everyday basis. But like I said before, he's a man. And men make mistakes all the time. I'm not going to hold that one moment over him. You get what I'm saying? And I think there was another moment, too, where he did say the N-word around that same time. Who knows? Maybe he was a racist at that time. Or maybe it was a hidden racist or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the guy personally. But again, I do know that he's a man. And men make mistakes. They make a bunch of mistakes. And so, I don't know. I'm not going to hold certain moments against a person and say, this is who you are. You're trash. You're filth. You know, rest in piss. You know what I mean? Like people have been doing online. That's just not what that's just not how to do it. You feel me? And so I feel like if you're gonna go ahead and hold somebody accountable, hold them accountable, but you also got to give them a chance to change and become a better person too. You know what I mean? That's me. And he's taking his losses. He's taking his licks. You know what I mean? But everybody, people on the internet, you guys develop this whole parasocial relationship with these stars and these people, and it's weird because you guys pretend to know what these people are and what they do on a daily basis, and it's like you have no idea who this person is. And so, I mean, like I could probably, I can act and pretend like I think I do know Hulk Hogan or whatever, but I don't. And so I got, for any person, he's just, a lot of people think that these celebrities or stars think that stars think that they're better than other people. But in just reality, most of them are regular people. They're regular people just with a crap load of money. You feel me? And they make mistakes too. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, hey, if you're gonna hold people accountable, you gotta be fair across the board. And that's my thing. If he's already apologized, he's already came out and said, "Hey, that was a different person back then. I'm not that person now," and everything. You got to give him a chance to change. You got to give him a chance to be a better person. Otherwise, what's the point? You just make one mistake and that's it. You're over with. No, like you got to give people a chance to be a better person. And so I'm gonna leave it there. You guys, let me know what you think. Am I just gobbling on that Hulk Hogan train, or am I being fair and reasonable? You let me know. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know why I said gobbling. That was weird. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. But because I'm like, are we gonna give him a chance to be a better person, or is it just us bashing him for the rest of his life until the grave? Beyond the grave too. Like, come on now. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. What it do, yo? I got a quick update to add to this video. Luckily, I didn't finish editing this video before I found out. So it looks like Joey Swoll, after this whole controversy and everything, it looks like he got a lot of backlash from this whole thing, and that to a point where it's like he's done with social media from the looks of it. Like it looked like he quit social media. I'm gonna show you guys the post he made. But yeah, man, I've said it before. I said it a little earlier in the video, and I'll say it again. Like Joey, like don't quit, dog. Do not bend your knee to the angry mob. I know they're gonna make it seem like they're angry with you and everything, but it's only because it's trending. They don't truly care about the situation. They only care because it's a trending topic right now. In a good month or two, they're gonna forget all about it. But the thing is, you cannot bend your knee to the woke mob. And when you apologized for the Hulk Hogan videos, which I wouldn't have apologized. No, I'm not going to apologize for that. The only thing I do think you should have apologized for was the word colored and for not knowing what it meant and things like that. Everything else, I was like, nah, you shouldn't have apologized for all that stuff. But that was just me personally. And so this is what I'm saying, because once you apologize, you reveal a chink in your armor. It's like they hold this over your head for the rest of your life type thing. Like it's crazy how the woke mob gets. They get very nasty. They try to nitpick and try to pick and choose when to hate you and when to like you. Like it's crazy. And so this is just why I don't play the game. Me personally, I just don't apologize for anything I say. There are some things where I'll be like, okay, maybe I did push it too far. But everything else, I've been like, hey, I'm not apologizing for the Hulk Hogan videos. Y'all can go F yourselves. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's check this post out. And let's go and finish this video. Let me show y'all real quick. But yeah, it's messed up, man. Y'all went for Joey Swoll, who's like a very wholesome guy. And you guys are going to hold that on him? Like, it's wild. It's really wild to me. And so here's the video. I'm looking up somebody else's post, but this is what he said. All the good I've done, all the people I've helped, all for nothing. And when I need help, when I need kindness and compassion, nothing. I truly hope all the people I've inspired do great things in their life and pay it forward to help others and carry on my message. But no matter how much good you do, no matter how much or how many people you help, they just wait for a reason to hate you and tear you down. It's true. You either die a hero or live long enough to become or to be the villain. My bad. He didn't really quote it correctly, but you get the point. And thank you all for your support. I love you all. I am done with social media. And that's sad. And that's really sad because Joey Swoll is a wholesome dude. He's a dude that keeps it real and holds people accountable. And he held himself accountable in this situation. He apologized. Not saying if anybody felt hurt or anything, should just forgive and forget. No, but you should let people. This is what I'm saying. Give people a chance to become better. Give people a chance to do better. You know what I mean? You guys didn't even give them a chance. You guys just started attacking them. A lot of you were mad. Like there's a lot of people that were mad at Joey Swoll for going at people. But he was too much of a wholesome character that there's no way to get to him. Now the chink of armor has been found after you apologize. Now everybody's gonna start coming through the woodwork and say, "Oh yeah, Joey's always been a piece of. Oh yeah, Joey's always been a racist. Joey's always been everybody's gonna come out the woodworks now." And that's how the woke mob works, dog. That's how the woke mob works. You just do not bend your knee to them. Because there's no point. They don't care about what you have to say. They don't care. They only care that they can mess with you. That's the only thing they care about. They're like, can we mess with them or can we not? That's all they care about. And now they found a reason to mess with you. And so that's my thing, man. I wish Joey Swoll would have just kept it real and be like, hey, yo, I didn't know colored was still offensive. I apologize. I didn't know that. I'll do better, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe he's like, I'm going to take a break from social media, take a break for, a couple weeks from social media, let this thing die down. I'll come back when I'm ready. I appreciate y'all. Much love. But this right here, it looked like he just quit altogether, which sucks. And hopefully, man, this isn't the end for Joey. I really hope it's not. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. I really do appreciate y'all for tuning in, for real. Let me know what you guys think about the Hulk Hogan situation, the Joey Swoll situation. And yeah, man, let's talk about it. Hit me up in the comment section. And who knows, maybe I'll make a part 2 to this, just responding to everybody's comments. But until next time, y'all, it's been real. It's been raw. Oh, let me stop sharing real quick. But anyways, until next time, it's been real. It's been raw. It's been too easy, yo. Much love.